Hey everybody, it's Iceman50 here. Thought we'd bring you another, this would be a Sunday afternoon special. So we've got my wife's jewelry cart, and she's got these drawers in it. And you can see that it's got a pretty bad gangster lean to it here. It, you know, there's a lot of weight in it and on top of it, and it's just not really that strong. There's no cross bracing support, obviously you can see back there, so it's pulled way to the... All right, so anyways, what we're gonna do is it's leaning pretty bad, and we've tried tightening it up. It just has no cross brace support, right? So what I did is, you know, it's 2 feet. It's from side to side, it's 24 inches, and from top to bottom to the rails is about 32 inches. So what I did is I went to Menards and picked up pegboard. So pegboard, my original idea was just a piece of plywood, and I'd drill a bunch of holes in it and then use zip ties to attach it to the backside around in certain areas. Well, that'll work, but then I realized that I could use pegboard, and then it's already got the holes in it. So all I got to do is, you know, cut this to size. It's 24 inches is good. And then this is, I already made a couple marks here at 32 inches. So that'll put it right about here. So what I'll do is I'll get this cut to length. We'll put it on the back, and then we'll get a bunch of zip ties, and we'll zip tie it all along the back and the bottom and the side. Now I can't really, you can see I can't really, you know, attach it to here unless I drilled holes. But I mean, I don't think that's really going to be necessary. I think if we attach it, you know, on 1, 2, 3 sides, it'll be good. If it's not, then I'll drill a few more holes once we get this mounted. I will drill a few more holes here, but I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just bring it up to the level, and if it's good, it's good. But you know, securing it on all 4 sides would probably make it a little stiffer, but we'll try with the 3 first, and then if that's not enough, then we'll add the top side in, and we'll go from there. So we're gonna move this operation out to the balcony, and we'll start cutting, and I'll see you in a minute. All right, everybody, we're out here on the balcony. I got my framing square, and I've got my tape measure. And what I did is I measured off 3 marks, one here at 32, another one here at 32, and the last one at 32. So what I'm gonna do is take my framing square, and we're gonna get this square on the wood. I'm gonna mark that. Now we're gonna turn this around. I know I have limited room to work here. We'll keep it square to the other side. Pretty close. Okay, that's pretty good. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the saw here, and you know, the one way to do it would be to, you know, clamp this down. I could use this as a guide. I actually do have some little clamps. Maybe I'll do that. We'll set this up. If you just hang on a second, sorry. Here, that we can use. At least we can get one side. And we'll set up our saw here. I've already kind of preset the depth. Now the blade, I never used this saw before, but I'm pretty sure it's this notch right where it says 0 here. So we're gonna move this until I'm right in there. Okay, it's pretty close. So what I'm gonna do is just make sure that it's centered here. I'm gonna crank down on this. It's a little. This isn't gonna be perfect. I really wish I had some more clamps, but at least this gives me a rough guide. I am using a small table, so that's underneath here. I'm about this far away from it. I set my depth kind of low. This is pretty thin stuff. It's only like 1/8 of an inch or whatever. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get started here and see what happens. Yeah, just hang out on the side here. Okay, I gotta push the safety. Pretty close. That makes it hard when you're only one person. We'll put the cut edge down to the bottom. It's just a teeny little bit off the corner here. That's all good. It was pretty good using this as a straight edge. It worked pretty well. I just need a few more clamps. Made a pretty good cut. It's the first time I ever used that saw. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we'll come back and we'll start getting this thing attached, get the zip ties or whatnot, and you guys can see how I'm gonna do that. All right, we'll be back in a minute. Hey everybody, just gonna grab myself another drink here. You know, you get thirsty working on this stuff. Oh, plus it's Corona time. It's Corona time. Anyways, so it's Sunday, it's all good. It's past noon somewhere. So oh, that's when you know you screwed up. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is, you know, it's kind of funny. There's not really a front or a back. It's kind of the same on both sides. So I'm just gonna pick a side. I guess I'm gonna go with this side. And then let's see. Do I have any? What do you think? Should we go with black or blue or multicolored orange? I don't have any black. That's why I'm wondering. Should we stick with one color? Should we just mix it up? What do you think we should do? Okay, well, I guess we're gonna mix it up. That's what we're gonna do. So, man, my calibrated eyeballs figured out that this zip tie was just gonna fit through these holes. It'd suck if I had to, if I had to drill all those holes again. Oh, and so what I want to do is I want to hide this end here, right? So, it's gonna kind of come down here, goes in this one, through here, okay, and then we'll just do everything from the back side. So all you're gonna see in the end is, you know, you won't see this because it'll be tucked in inside, but it'll be like that. All right, so you just gotta pull this around. Okay, so I'll just start with some green ones. And then and I really lucked out with this just fitting. I figured that they would work. Okay. Oh, let's sit down. So we got the sort of the top secure, then we'll go down here. Now the idea was is I measured, yeah, so we'll go down to this one. It's getting more complicated. Not really, just gonna turn these. I want all the stuff to the inside so that I don't forget. We'll do green on the top, orange on the bottom. I went from the second hole over. Okay. Second hole. hopes are that we'll get a couple in the bottom too, to set the bottom height. This is where it becomes fun, because now we get a little closer to where we want it, so I'm gonna have to go from the back side here. Move that around. Okay. Put another one over here. You know, the funny thing about these jewelry stands is that they're not cheap either. They're like $100 and something bucks. I mean, it's actually kind of crazy how expensive they are for what this thing is. So, you know, if we can, you know, really no point in buying another one. I mean, exactly the same kind. Because it's just going to do the same thing. So we're just going to get close. Rotate that around. What we're gonna start doing here is we'll start at the bottom. Might be easier to lay this down. Okay, that makes it a little easier. So all I'm gonna do is just, you see, I can tighten up on it pretty good, and then I can just get my cutters here. Give yourself these are electronics cutters. All right, everybody. Multiple interruptions today. The pitfalls of living in an apartment complex. So, as I was saying, we're gonna start by securing the bottom one on. We're gonna get all in here. Okay, then we're gonna come in here and we're gonna cut these off. See, I really like, if you do any kind of work like this, please, for the love of God, use the real, you know, electronics dikes here, because it gets right up on there and you will not cut yourself. It's not sharp. You know, when you come in here with any other pliers and you go like this and it like, actually, it's really sharp. There's a point here. You're gonna slice yourself open. This is no joke. Like, I mean, I'm just running my finger on here and it kind of hurts, you know. So just make sure you get in here. And, you know, I've been doing this for over 20 years. Zip ties and, you know, electronics. And, you know, that's just like the finishing touch on the whole project, right? Is, you know, making sure that you don't hurt yourself. And then, like this, turning the pieces inside so you don't see this stupid little thing on the end. I mean, for me, you know, you can't really, you can see in here, but, you know, you don't want to see that. You know, I've got it turned. It's good now. See, you don't want to see that. You want to turn this thing in there. I mean, look, now, okay, this is better than the whole end or whatever. So, to me, that's what I always do. When I work on stuff, I make sure that I try to do it. So, you know, now I'm thinking, so we've got the bottom secured. So we're going to have to, you can see, look at how unsquare this thing is. If you look from the top here, you can see how not square this thing really is. This board is square. I just cut it. It came as a 2 by uh, 8 sheet or no 2x4 yeah 2x4 sheets. So I cut it, and you can just see that it's totally crooked. So what we're gonna do is we secure the bottom, and then we're gonna go and I'm just gonna pick a side like this side, you know, and we're just gonna try and center all this, and then oh man, that's nice and tight. That's good. So then what we'll do is we'll just we'll come along here and we'll do one side and we'll move on. So we'll start in this corner. Okay. We'll do a couple of orange ones here. And then we'll start, wow. We'll start in the middle here. This looks like about the middle. We'll start in the middle here. It's way off because it's crooked. So we're gonna push this down in here. Oh, and you can see I almost already screwed up. But I didn't. So over here. Okay, get this. Ah, hey, and there you go. Now you can see. You can see we screwed up that hole. That's all right. This stuff is like pressed paper pulp. It's very in the wrong way, like pulling on it like that, it just comes apart. You can see it's literally like pressed cardboard. So it's, you know, so what we'll do is we're gonna come up here and we're gonna do this one next. That way, and we're gonna put, see how much that moved? We're gonna put another one right here. I mean, I might have to do zip ties on every single one of these holes. I mean, that seems ridiculous, but you know, we'll start from the top. Oh yeah, that worked pretty good. Start from the top and work our way in. Okay. So and then of course, like I said, we can just move our little things to the inside. Right? Like that. I mean, that looks pretty good. Man, it's hard on your fingers. Okay, so we'll go next to the hole that blew out. If you're careful, you can use them as pliers. Oh, I got one extra crank on that one. So I think what we'll do is we'll try to make it look a little symmetrical, at least to begin with. You know, I'm kind of OCD like that. Like if I do something to one side, kind of want to do it to another side. You know, so we'll just I got 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, 1 in the middle. I think we're gonna want to, you know, we'll start going in between them, and then if we have to go in between, so we'll just eyeball it and say, you know, I can go on either side, but you know, we'll go here. Oh, could you give me my pair of pliers that are on my desk? All right, thanks. Yeah, it was. It's really been hurting my fingers with these. So we'll just move them. This is probably the better way to do it. You can really crank on them with this thing. You're getting a lot of good pull. These things are pretty, these are just some cheap pliers that I got from Menards or something, I guess. These are actually ESD safe pliers from Heiko. They make soldering irons, and since they're flush cutters, they're very sharp, very precise. They're great for this kind of work. Don't ever use them on metal, only plastic. Well, I say metal, but like leads off of a component or something, that's fine, but not like heavy steel. I was cutting a string with another pair of these, just a string, and I squeezed it, and I must have squeezed too hard, and there must have been a defect, and one half of these snapped off. And these are like hardened. They're pretty good. They weren't that expensive. They were like, I don't know, $15 or something, but they're very precision, very nice for what you can get. And Heiko's a great company. They make soldering irons and tools, and you know, they even give you free ground shipping from California, which is pretty cool, and that's all the time. And if you spend more than $35 with them, they'll throw in free stuff like T-shirts or you know, stuff like that. So pretty cool company. They don't sponsor me. I'm never sponsored by anybody, but I do use their products and I do believe in them. So if you're looking for soldering irons or soldering stations, maybe at the end of the video I'll show you my setup with my soldering irons and the Heiko FX950. FX950 is my old one. This one's a FM101. I can't remember. Anyways, we'll take you over there and we'll show you my setup. But you know, they make some pretty good products. I have them at work. I have them at home. They're great. I guess maybe I can put some links in the description, right? Is that what they say? So I'll throw some links in there for some of the stuff that I'm using. Generic zip ties. You can see Catamount, quantity 500. These Thomas & Betts, which I actually like Thomas & Betts. They're good for electrical stuff. Most people call it T&B. That's what I call it. But their stuff is pretty good. Like, this was just generic. I got this at like Menards. Again, Menards is great for cheap zip ties and stuff like this, you know. But they're pretty good. So let's see here. Let's do some more on the bottom. Now that we got the right side done, we'll go to the middle. We'll finish this off. We'll put one in between, like I've been doing. This. We'll do another one over here on the inside. I was watching somebody, I forget who it was on YouTube, of course, and you know, maybe it was this old Tony, and he kept saying, you know, make sure that, you know, when you're doing stuff, you're asking yourself, if I'm putting this on the right way, am I doing this wrong? Because you know, there's nothing more annoying than doing something twice for something stupid. Yeah, just make sure that you know, you keep thinking, hey, if you want to do this, you know, where you got the stuff on the inside, you don't want anybody to see it, then you're gonna kind of have to, you know, remember that. And they're just zip ties. You can cut them right off and do it over again. I mean, these things are a penny a piece. It's not that big a deal. So, okay. Well, we're gonna start on the third side here. Get that nice and tight. I'll do like I said on the other one, and I'll throw another one in from the bottom. I know another thing about the OCD is I'm probably gonna have to make the same colors that I did on the one side. That's just how it is. You know, when people look at stuff, you know, I work with scientists and engineers, you know, and they want to see that things look the same on, you know, they look at something that, you know, they're like, oh, you know, it shows that you put some thought and care into it. You know, so it only takes a minute. I mean, I threw in some colors here. We'll just do what we did on the other side, make it look pretty good. The blue one. then we got an orange one over here. Through there. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of start at the top here. I know I kind of worked at the bottom, but we got the bottom done. And then we're gonna just, oh, yeah, see? Pull a little too tight. We already kind of saw this happen on the last one. Oh. Be real careful when you're using these for that purpose, because they're not really meant to do that. You can really mess up the tips pretty good, but you just gotta be careful. So that was a green one. So, yeah, what we're gonna do is we'll try and okay, here's what we're gonna do. Seeing as that I can't get another one in that hole, we're just gonna pop that one off. That way at least it looks similar, and I should be good to go here. Okay, so oh, I did it again, man. Remember, kids, don't do alcohol, drugs, or whatever. No, that's correct. Hey, it's all part of the fun, right? So, we'll come in here, and this time we won't gorilla grip it. Just a little. We'll just put a little bit on. Okay. And then, because I'm so weird, we're gonna cut this one off, and then we're gonna go down one more. We're gonna go here. Why don't you go in your home? Okay, I'm gonna have to pull it up, back through, and down. Come on. Okay. Good enough. And then we're gonna move that back there. Okay, we won't make that same mistake again. We won't tighten that up anymore. Oh, these are nice. Oh, we got one extra. Okay. So we're gonna come in here. Remember, everybody, it is okay to make mistakes. You know, that's part of life. You just adapt and overcome, right? So, you know, we'll just make do with what we got, and we'll go from there. I kind of believe in, you know, making it look good. So, yeah, I had to do a couple extra. It looks kind of, but you know what? If you look at it, you'll never notice unless you look close. And it's not that critical. So, let's see. Oh, and you can see, we can go in here even, which this is even more genius, is that we'll go around this pipe here, this back support, and we'll bring it back around, right? Like this, see that? And then now we can just, it's a good thing I got small hands. We'll just Get our pliers in here. This will be interesting. Okay. Get in there. Oh, this is tricky. Okay. Get to it from this side. Okay. So we'll just get one up at the top here. Butterfingers. We'll get one at the top here. And for any of you that are Star Trek fans, I like both, but if you like Star Trek, you should check out the new Picard. Okay, Jean-Luc Picard from The Next Generation. That's a pretty good show. I watched all season 1. What else are you gonna do now, right? And it's pretty dark. I like it. There's, you know, killing and swearing. It's better than the old Star Trek. You know, they put a little bit more of a dark note on it, which I liked. Had some cool. Whoa. Had some cool cast members. Some cameos by Jonathan Frakes, who's Riker, and Marina Sirtis, who's Deanna Troi. 7 of 9 was in there from Star Trek Discovery. Discovery? Or Voyager? No, Voyager. Anyways, so yeah, a lot of good stuff going on that one. Let's check it out. And that's when you know you screwed up. We gotta get this. We gotta get these away from the back of the thing here. Okay. When you do stuff like this, you gotta remember. You know, before I hit on the other ones, I could rotate it, but on these, it didn't really seem like it was having it. So we're gonna make sure that we get this guy as close to the back wall as possible. Down there. There. That's way better. To keep it back down inside of there, away from the away from here. Which this one's also going to be a problem, which is sucky because I didn't pay attention to that. But these are the things that you run into when you are doing stuff for the first time or trying to figure something out. You know, there's a learning curve, right? So, you know, I realized, oh, the drawers won't close. So we'll fix that. Over here somewhere. Okay. Hope you guys are enjoying the new shots. We got the DJI Osmo Mobile 3, I think, and just got that recently, and it's pretty nice. It gives you those nice shots. I'm just using my cell phone. My son is running things from behind the camera, but it's actually really nice. I'm sure he can attest to the fact that there's some guys you watch on YouTube where the video's all shaky and jerky, and you know what? This was only $130. It is really not that expensive, and I think it'll at least make the videos more worthwhile, and we can do some cool stuff. It'll face scan and all sorts of stuff, so you know, it's pretty neat. And you know what? If it makes the content a little bit better for you guys, why not? I don't really believe in buying a whole, you know, expensive camera when I can do all the editing and stuff right from my phone now. I mean, I got an iPhone 8 Plus, and it works, you know, it takes good video and audio, so why would I want to That's why I bought the Mobile 3. I could have bought the DJI Osmo for the GoPros and all that, and I thought about buying a GoPro, but you know what? Why? Why do it? I got a perfectly good phone. It's a 256 gig phone, so I got plenty of memory. Okay. Oh.
So here, let's get a close-up of what you just did.
All right. So come on in here. I can maybe throw some light in there.
Yeah.
So you can see. So I just wrapped around the tubes. Basically everything is wrapped around the tubes, right? So, you know, I didn't do anything at the top here, you know, along this top edge, but you know, it looks like it's pretty stable. It's pretty stiff. You can see from the backside.
And if you compare it to the very beginning, it's more straight.
Oh, it's
zip ties.
Yeah, you can see that it's no longer leaning real hard. It's actually pretty straight. And all I did was use, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I don't know, like 18, 20 zip ties. And I think it's gonna be good enough. We'll put the contents of the drawers back in, and we'll bring you back and we'll see how it does. All right. Hey everybody, we're back and we got some beads. You can see my wife has an addiction problem. She's addicted to beads. So the whole point is that these are pretty heavy. These are all like glass beads and stuff, and so you can see that, you know, this has got to weigh. I mean, we could get a scale and weigh this, but this is like a gallon of milk. This is at least 8 pounds, probably 10 pounds. And you can see that, you know, they go into these rails here, and there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if each of them had 10 pounds in them, we're loading this thing down with 100, 200 pounds. And what was happening is that with all these shelves in there, with no cross braces, now we could have just done something with some metal or whatever, but you know what? I live in an apartment. What's easiest? You know, I don't have a garage, you know, I've got a balcony, and I got battery powered tools. So I just cut a piece of this perf board, like we said, you know, and just put it in there and that'll work. So what that's gonna do is it acts like a cross brace, right? Instead of going from corner to corner, you know, we've done basically the same thing with a whole sheet, okay? I've secured it on 3 sides. If you really, now, what's funny is that if you've ever put together a piece of furniture from Walmart, you'll see that, you know, you put all the stuff together and it kind of leans and tilts, and as soon as you put like that cardboard back, that real thin, cheap cardboard, it's almost actually the same kind of stuff. It's like a press board, like a pressed cardboard. As soon as you put that on and nail it, it all becomes rigid because it's tying in everything together, and it's creating a very strong shape. What they should have done is, you know, for the cost of this thing, I'm saying over $100. It was probably closer to $130. There's no cross braces. Now, you know, they would go from like here up on the corner to down there, and you could do 2 bars, like an X. But again, you know, this is cheap and easy, and this thing's been leaning real hard, and we've been tightening all the screws. You can see it's got, you know, Allen screws here that go into these tubes. But you tighten them up and everything, just because of so much weight, we're talking 200 pounds, it's on every one of these joints, and it's just flexing them and twisting them. So no matter how much we tighten it up, this thing just still wanted to lean. Now you can see here that it's solid now. I mean, you saw before with the piece of wood. And, you know, even if I try to lean on this thing and pull it, I can't now. So I'd say this is pretty secure. We're gonna go ahead and, you know, I think the board cost me a couple of bucks, and the zip ties, well, hell, I bought those a long time ago, so. But, you know, it's like a less than $10 fix, you know, and what are you gonna do, throw this thing away and buy exactly the same thing and have the same problem happen? No. You know, this is good enough for now. You know, it's, I'm also working with the tools and materials that I have, so. But, you know, why do something out of metal and drill and, you know, do all this stuff when I can just get a piece of press board? And it literally was one cut. I just cut the top of it off. and at the right height, which you guys saw earlier. So, but anyways, this is it for our Sunday project, and we'll see you on the next one. All right.